Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the news. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Chief Minister Conrad Sangma assures Meghalaya Assembly of stronger cyber security measures alongside disaster recovery site for Finance Department's digital systems. Meghalaya Assembly reviews SF10 preparedness and rising VIP security expenditure as government details training and deployment measures. Home Minister Praston Tinsong says law and order has returned to normal, assures tourists that Meghalaya is safe to visit. And United Nations steps up emergency relief in flood-hit Nepal as fresh border lake overflow raises new fears, nearly 1,000 reported missing. The news in detail, and first the local news. Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma has assured the Meghalaya Assembly that the government will take all possible measures to strengthen cyber security while setting up a disaster recovery site for Finance Department applications. The issue was raised during a cut motion by leader of the opposition Dr. Mukul Sangma over a supplementary demand for upgrading computer networks and treasuries for e-billing, e-voucher and e-sanction systems. The Chief Minister said the current demand mainly involves hardware procurement, but stressed that cybersecurity measures will be continuously upgraded amid growing cybercrime and emerging threats from artificial intelligence. He also assured that proper security systems, human oversight and verification of personnel involved in developing and operating the digital infrastructure will be maintained.
Supplementary demand is specifically for the hardware section, sir. So therefore, this is going to be procurement of desktop computers. This is going to be for printers, scanners and administrative departments. So therefore, this is going to be done more for the hardware point of view, sir. Therefore, the exact aspect of all the points mentioned by LO in terms of having a very strong malware and a system that is very robust, obviously is a process that will continue, and the upgradation of the safety and security systems will continue, sir. Even now, in all the e-proposal systems that we have, there is a very, very robust system in which we run. But even the most robust
Police preparedness, the role of SF10 and rising VIP security expenditure came under scrutiny in the Meghalaya Assembly. Leader of Opposition Dr. Mukul Sangma and Maulai MLA Bright Starwell Marbanyang sought stronger training and fitness standards for SF10 and stricter scrutiny of VIP security deployments. Replying, Deputy CM Praston Tinsong said, the 901-member SF10 continues its core role in insurgency and law and order duties with regular training and physical tests. He said 5,430 VIP and VVIP movements were recorded during 2025-26, with deployments governed by prescribed SOPs. The cut motion was later withdrawn, with the opposition congratulating Meghalaya Police on receiving the President's Police Colour Award.
If it was not election time, it wouldn't happen, because Dr. Mukul knew where these guys were staying. I spoke to the DGP, saying that they have already come there, go as per what we are supposed to do. Because during our time, if any of them have reached any village, the SOP was that they must not be able to sleep. Our people must reach. They must not be able to eat, so that they run. So when they can't sleep, when they can't have food, they remember mother and father and come back when you give the opportunity. And that is what happened.
After the detailed discussion, treadmill discussion, and also after seeing the entire security scenario, as I mentioned, here in the state, therefore, ultimately we decided to come down. However, the training that has been given to the SF-10 is more or less the same. And not only that, even the nature of duties that they have, still we are continuing, sir.
Meghalaya Home Minister Prastun Tinsong today said the law and order situation in the state has returned to normal and assured tourists that Meghalaya is safe to visit. Speaking to media, Tinsong said the government has taken proactive measures to restore peace and security following recent incidents of violence and tension in parts of the state. He said the situation is now under control and urged tourists not to be apprehensive about visiting Meghalaya. On FIRs registered against KSU members in Guwahati over incidents involving Assam registered vehicles, Tinsong said cases have been filed from both sides. He said the matter will be dealt with according to law.
We have already instructed all the concerned district administration to be more alert and to make sure that the tourists coming in or going out from our state are safe and they enjoy the the beauty of Shillong or the beauty of Meghalaya, and when they go back, it will be memorable for them. And taking into consideration about all these issues, I would like to personally encourage those tourists who intended to come down to Meghalaya, to Shillong especially. You feel free to come, and then we have already put in place all the safety mechanisms.
Leader of the opposition, Dr. Mukul Sangma, today sought clarity from the Meghalaya government over the grievances raised by members of the legal fraternity, including the High Court Bar Association and Shillong Bar Association. Raising the issue in the assembly, Sangma said lawyers from across the state had come together to highlight their concerns and urged the government to inform the House about the matter and action being taken. Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma said the issue was sub judice with cases pending before the High Court. The leader of the opposition questioned how the matter was sub judice, while the Chief Minister said he did not have all the details but had been informed that the issue was before the court. Sangma urged the government to take the concerns of the legal fraternity seriously.
Therefore, in view of these issues flagged by these all the bar associations, it refers that the High Court of Meghalaya Bar Association and the Shillong Bar Association, also other members of these legal luminaries across the state joining in this particular, rather coming together to draw the attention of the government pertaining to their demands and to resolve the grievances. So it is a convention and practice and expected from the government that when such issues do confront the state, then if the House is in session, under Rule 55, we usually are given kind of information.
The matter that is currently there, the matter is sub judice. There are cases that are going on in High Court. So it would be inappropriate for us to anyway make a statement. But as I said, sir, the House discusses many things, and in many ways we are able to take out. Last time I had mentioned about the law and order, I did a statement because that was of great importance. This also is important, sir, but as I said, the matter is sub judice. So therefore, sir, we have not...
Former Meghalaya Tourism Minister Paul Lyngdoh today defended the proposed tree cutting for the Shillong Ropeway project, saying the project underwent due diligence and environmental assessment before being taken forward. He said the project has been planned following the required procedures, including environmental impact assessment, and pointed out that its foundation stone was laid by the President of India. Lyngdoh clarified that trees would not be felled indiscriminately and only those located at sites where ropeway towers are proposed would need to be removed. He said the ropeway, modelled along the lines of systems in Switzerland, is aimed at improving transport connectivity and promoting tourism in Shillong.
Let's also not forget that this project has been created and modeled on the Swiss model, meaning the ropeway that you see in the Alps in Switzerland is exactly the model which the Shillong ropeway project has been designed on. So with that kind of caliber, with that kind of technology which was applied while constructing the ropeway project in the Alps, that same technology has been modeled for Shillong ropeway project. I hope that I am confident that the department would bear that in mind while executing the project.
The proposed Nong Hali Scientific Landfill project has entered the final stage of the environmental clearance process. Deputy Chief Minister in charge of Urban Affairs, Singaw Bhalang Dhar, informed the Assembly that the Meghalaya High Court disposed of the litigation concerning the project on July 14, 2026 in favour of the government. Dhar said the government is now preparing the final environmental impact assessment and environmental management plan for submission to the State Environment Impact Assessment Authority. The project had faced delays due to public consultations and litigation, while concerns were also raised over the impact of Shillong's existing dumping ground on residents and the environment. Dhar said land acquisition will begin only after environmental clearance is obtained, with the Nong Hali facility intended to provide a long-term solution to Shillong's growing solid waste management needs.
Since when or which year has the government started to search for new landfill sites for Shillong and for other towns?
With your permission, I need some time because it's a fact that the projects delay quite sometimes. The NIT was floated for the Shillong landfill on March 2022. And following the invitation that we have received phone numbers of landowners who participate in the process. And from these four, DC has formed the task force committee, which headed DC himself, and inspected all the four lands. And after the inspections and the report was submitted from these four, Nong Hali landfills seemed to be feasible, which met the criteria as per the norms required by the department.
NPP State President and Meghalaya Deputy Chief Minister Pristone Tinsong today said the resignation of former Rajya Sabha MP and senior party leader Dr. W.R. Kharluki will have no impact on the NPP. Tinsong said the party was saddened by the resignation as Kharluki was among the founding members of the NPP and had played an important role in its journey. However, he said the party respects Kharluki's decision and is not aware of the exact reasons behind his resignation. Tinsong maintained that the resignation would not affect the functioning of the party, asserting that the NPP remains intact and will continue with its political activities.
I feel bad because he has resigned, he left the party. In fact, he was one also of the founder of the NPP, but I can't do anything on his resignation since he wanted to resign. And then without any, even any reasons thereon, I don't know, but he said due to his personal reasons, so he would like to leave the party.
Meghalaya is stepping up food safety enforcement through increased inspections, laboratory testing and action against unsafe food products. Health Minister Wailatmiki Shilla told the Assembly that the government is seeking a supplementary provision of Rs 2.37 crore to strengthen the food safety mechanism. He said 13 food safety officers have been posted across districts, while 21 technical staff have been brought under the state government. The State Food Testing Laboratory tested 16,682 samples between April 2021 and April 2026, while 3,756 inspections were conducted over the last 3 years. Shilla said the measures are aimed at strengthening food safety monitoring and protecting consumers.
And now, sir, Food Commissioner
raid has two parts, sir. One enforcement and the another is technical, sir. And right now, sir, in the technical, sir, we have sent 5 more posts to the MPSC, sir. We are awaiting for the result for the recommendation from the MPSC, and these are, sir, food analysts. Right now we have contractual, assistant analyst, chemist, assistant chemist, scientific assistant chemist is already filled, scientific assistant, these are all one post, and lab assistant 1 post, sir. So these are the human resource.
A training cum awareness camp on the Meghalaya Right to Public Services Act 2020 was held at Ampati today. The program was organized by the Meghalaya State Public Services Delivery Commission in collaboration with the Southwest Garo Hills District Administration to sensitize citizens and government officials on timely, transparent and accountable delivery of public services. Deputy Commissioner Anandya Rajshri highlighted citizens' right to receive notified services within prescribed timelines and the appealed mechanisms available in cases of delay or denial. Participants were also briefed on the MSPS-DC online portal, which provides access to 220 notified services, including ST and SC certificates, income certificates and farmer ID registration. The program highlighted citizens' right to seek timely services and appeal against delays or denial.
The public services that that the government is providing to the citizens, along with what are the legalities involved, the procedure about the portal also, and then the importance of deadlines. Plus, we will also focus upon why this having a smooth public service delivery system is so important in the government setup. Understand that sometimes how difficult it becomes for the citizens to know where to go for a certain certificate or for a certain, not even a certificate, just for a certain NOC also.
A district-level science seminar on the theme Indian Energy Basket 2047 Prospects and Challenges was held at the Multi-Facility Centre in Ampati, Southwest Garo Hills. The seminar was organized by the District School Education Officer, Southwest Garo Hills, to promote scientific awareness among students. It provided a platform for students to discuss India's future energy needs, the prospects and challenges of the energy basket, and the country's vision for sustainable energy development by 2047. The program also encouraged students to engage with emerging issues in science, energy, and sustainable development. Senkhasi College today celebrated its 53rd Foundation Day with a commemorative program at the college campus in Waking, Jayau. The celebration brought together senior members of Senkhasi Khmer, college faculty, non-teaching staff and students. College governing body president Gideon Kharmau Plang hoisted the college flag, while addresses were delivered by governing body secretary Meryl Nongset, Vice Principal Lawan Shisha Seim Yong Kongwer, and former Principal in Charge Dr. Herina Dotdong. The celebration marked 53 years of Senkhasi College contribution to education and its continued role in the academic development of students. Members of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad Shillong visited the Dauki border along the India-Bangladesh frontier to celebrate Raksha Bandhan with Border Security Force personnel. Women members of the VHP's Durga Vahini tied Rakhis on the wrists of BSF personnel as a gesture of respect, solidarity and gratitude towards the soldiers guarding the nation. The program also conveyed prayers for the safety and well-being of the security personnel, many of whom remain stationed away from their families while protecting the country's borders. Raksha Bandhan is traditionally celebrated on the full moon day of the Shravan month, symbolizing the bond of love, affection and protection between siblings. Moving ahead to the national news. 21 Indian nationals from Tamil Nadu rescued from the flood-affected area in Nepal arrived in Delhi today after reaching Kathmandu yesterday. MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said 63 Indians working at the Trishuli 1 hydropower project were also rescued. He added that 96 Indians stranded on the Chinese side have safely crossed into Nepal with efforts underway to evacuate them.
Sharing with you first good news, 21 Indian nationals who had yesterday arrived in Kathmandu from the area that was affected by this flood. They have today landed in Delhi. They have just landed. These 21 Indian nationals, they are from Tamil Nadu and they arrived by Indigo flight which just landed in Delhi. Yesterday our ambassador had met them in Kathmandu and inquired about their well-being. In addition to these 21 Indian nationals, yesterday I had informed you, we had given you an update about 63 Indian nationals who were working at Trishuli 1 hydropower project. They were also rescued yesterday.
Now for the international news. The United Nations has deployed emergency relief supplies to Nepal's flood-hit Nuwakot district, where thousands of displaced families are awaiting assistance. UNICEF teams have been distributing hygiene kits and essential supplies. Meanwhile, a landslide-created lake on the Nepal-China border began overflowing today, triggering fresh panic and temporarily halting rescue operations in affected areas. The catastrophic flash flood earlier this week has killed 489 people in Nepal and 5 in Tibet, with nearly 1,000 others reported missing across the two countries. The Red Cross estimates that more than 90,000 people have been affected amid fears of further flooding in the region.
UNICEF is on the ground. We're working with the government and partners to assess the situation, to understand what it is that children and families need, and to respond accordingly. But our priority first and foremost is the children, to make sure that they're safe, protected, and eventually able to recover from this disaster.
Behind every box being loaded today is support for children and families affected by the floods. We are dispatching pre-positioned UNICEF supplies, including hygiene kits and other essential items, to help children and families facing displacement and disruption.
Nepal Prime Minister Balendra Shah today chaired a meeting of the Council of Ministers at Singha Darbar in Kathmandu to review the situation following the devastating Bhotikoshi flood in Rasuwa. The meeting focused on rescue and relief operations along with rehabilitation and reconstruction measures in the flood-affected areas. The government also reviewed ongoing efforts to assist affected communities and restore essential infrastructure damaged by the disaster. And now it's time for the sports news. A special 5K Run for Fun was organized in East and West Khasi Hills today as part of the National Sports Day 2026. The event was organized by the District Sports Officer, West Khasi Hills, in collaboration with the District Sports Promotion Society, East and West Khasi Hills, under the theme Kheleka Bharat Jeetega Bharat. The run was flagged off by AEC L Mirthong from the DC office and covered Sangshong and Lom Soklor before concluding at the DC office premises. Hundreds of children, young people and residents participated in the event, promoting fitness, sportsmanship and an active lifestyle. The program also paid tribute to legendary hockey player Major Dhyan Chand on his birth anniversary and highlighted the importance of sports and physical fitness. And now for the weather report. First, let's take a look at the weather report in Tura. The minimum temperature was recorded at 24 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature 32 degrees Celsius, relative humidity 72% and rainfall 2.7 millimeter. Moving on to Shillong, the minimum temperature 19 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature 26 degrees Celsius, the relative humidity 76% and rainfall 15.8 millimeters. Meanwhile, in Juwai, the minimum temperature was recorded at 20 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature 26 degrees Celsius, relative humidity is 76% and rainfall 17.0 millimeter. And the forecast in Tura, Shillong and Juwai says moderate rain is likely to occur at many places. And now, before we end the news, the headlines once again. Chief Minister Conrad Sangma assures Meghalaya Assembly of stronger cyber security measures alongside disaster recovery site for Finance Department's digital systems. Meghalaya Assembly reviews SF10 preparedness and rising VIP security expenditure as government details training and deployment measures. Home Minister Preston Tinsong says law and order has returned to normal, assures tourists that Meghalaya is safe to visit. And United Nations steps up emergency relief in flood-hit Nepal as fresh border lake overflow raises new fears, nearly 1,000 reported missing. Well, viewers, with that we have come to the end of the news. Until we meet again tomorrow at the same time, same channel. Thank you for watching and good night.